Hi everyone, welcome back to Art on the Creek. My name is Anne, and are you in a hurry? Don't worry, I've got a little painting for you that'll only take just a couple minutes. Are you ready? Let's go have some fun. Well, I had cut up some sheets of watercolor paper here and didn't know what to do with them, so I saved them. I always save them. And I think what I'm going to do is just paint a little mini painting. I've got a great snowy scene here. I'll put it up on the right-hand side of the screen. I'm just going to focus on the house. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of trees, background. What drew me here were the purples and oranges of that sky. So that's really what I want to capture. So this is just a little exercise in keeping yourself creative, I guess, would be the way to phrase it. So let's see, I'm just drawing that hill on the left. The snow is going to come across here, and I'll just have it fall off to the side. I have this line here kind of just to remind me that there's a little highlight right in there. And let's see, our house. So there's part of the roof line that goes way down here below this snow that we can't see. And then we have a little chimney here. Actually, it's probably a big chimney. And then part of the roof line comes up. This is the main roof line, comes up this way. And then it goes down here. This is kind of a little cabin, I guess. Probably, actually, you know what it looks like? It looks like part of it was built in the 70s or 80s. And then they added on to it because this part of the house here is not the same color as the other part of the house, but that doesn't matter. We're going to just go ahead and make this up. The point of these little quick paintings is just to keep yourself going. Oftentimes when you're working on something, especially watercolor, when it can be kind of uncooperative at times, you can get in a real creative rut. And I think these little paintings help us not only get out of that rut, but they really help us to pare down our drawings, to include only include what we feel is really important to the subject here. And I want to get this dormer in. To practice where our shadows go. Put another chimney here. Theirs is more of a furnace chimney, but I'm going to make it another stone chimney. And yeah, they're just really good to practice and just to kind of keep us going. So we're just going to simplify this a little. We'll put a window over here and a window over here and maybe one down here too. And this will be our door. Okay, that's all we need. I'm not going to include a whole lot here. I'm using my Silver Black Velvet number 8 brush, and this is a piece of 100% cotton bee watercolor paper. That's B-E-E, like the insect. And the water is clean enough. I like this sky because it's got some purples and oranges in it. So that's what we're going to focus on today, is the sky. So the first thing I want to do is get some wet and wet going here. And I'm not taking it all the way to the edge, just leaving it kind of unfinished. And I've noticed we've got blue at the top. So let's go into this cobalt blue. I'm using they're the White Nights paints from Russia. And to be honest, I'm not sure if y'all be able to get them or not because of the war that's going on with Ukraine. So what I'm doing, you can use any watercolor set to do this. Of course, I'm just dropping in some purples, mixing it with that blue, and then I'm going into a color that they call golden. It would be like a cad red light or a sunset. A Winsor Newton has a transparent orange. It would be beautiful for this. And I'm going everywhere but where I want the sun to be. I don't know if this is a sunrise or a sunset. I'm going to go into this Indian yellow for the sun because it's such a warm yellow. I really like it. And I'll just put that right around here. It's just kind of that golden yellow. There. So there's the sky. All right, I want a very thin wash of this. So with a very wet brush, we'll go in, and I'm going to put in this top snow ridge here, just very lightly, and then I'll come down and put another ridge in here, and then our house will have some shadow, leaving some of it open. A little bit of dry brush there. All right, now with that same cobalt, again, really light, and this is where we want to be very careful not to touch the paint that we've already done. It looks like the shadows are being cast this way. So let's get some of these roof shadows in, where the snow would just be a little bit darker here. So toward the front. And then I'm gonna get my brush wet, because I don't want that to be blue. We'll just lift that off and come over here with a damp brush and kind of lift that off as well. I'm just using a thirsty brush, which is where you get your brush wet, roll it off on the paper towel, and then use it to pick up some of that pigment. So that helps me get rid of a hard line and just helps me graduate this color shift there. There, I like that. Now the one thing I see that I need to do before it gets too late is I'm gonna bring this all the way to the house. I want this to be as close to the house as possible, because what I do want to do when I'm done here is to try and erase these lines. We'll see how that works out for us. I'm just going to blend that in. And this one I'm going to need to pull a little bit more purple down here. There, okay, I like that. Now let's mix some Venice Red and some Burnt Umber for the color of the log cabin. This is just going to be the base color. So I'm going to go everywhere on here except for the chimney and the windows. More water on that. Go on all sides of the house. And this little bit back here. If you want to use a smaller brush for this part, you sure can. These silver black velvet brushes have a pretty good point on them though. So I do like using them for detail. Just trying to fill that in fairly carefully and not set my finger in wet paint. This B watercolor paper is kind of interesting. It's nice. I mean, it's a really good cotton budget watercolor paper, but it doesn't perform. I think it's the way it's sized. Maybe there's different grades of cotton out there. But yeah, it's a great price. I'll try and put a link to it in the description in case you're interested. I have understood that it's been kind of difficult for some people to find. So I hope that isn't the case for you. Now I'm just going to go into this black because we've got some, And let's do something real quick on the chimney here. Just some random rocks. There we go. And we'll do the same with this chimney here. Oh, and I see I forgot the little dormer. Let's get that in real quick. Going back into that red and brown that we mixed before. Now, what I want to do is to add a little bit, I got a little bit of black to that red-brown mix. So we're just dealing with a darker version of it. You know, I usually don't use black, but if they're going to include it in a palette, I try and find ways to use it. So I've just got a real dark brown mix here. And let's see, the darkest parts of our house are going to be the ones in front. So I just kind of add these little suggestions of logs. To the front. And then when we do it on the sides, we're going to do the same thing, but we'll do it a little farther apart. And that will give the illusion of the front being darker. So this part back here will be quite a bit darker. Because it is hidden between these two structures. And this front piece, we want to have those lines pretty close together again. It could be siding, it could be logs. We don't really know. There would be more of a shadow that way though. There, and then on this side here, they would be lighter, and this back here would be pretty dark as well. And now for the dormer, we're going to need to add something to that to give it some dimension, just a little bit. It's so tiny, we're just putting a little bit in there. Now I'm going to go into this aureolin. That's hard for me to say. I don't really know what that is. I mean, I don't know where the word originates. It's a yellow and it's very luminescent, so I want that to be the lights coming from the home. So we're going to fill these windows in with that aureolin. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to rinse my brush and get that aureolin really watered down, and I'm just going to cast some of that yellow out into the snow. There. And now what I want to do with that cobalt, because I need to put some dimension, let me zoom in on this a little really close so you can see. I need to put a shape in this dormer roof, so we're going to do this. And then I'll have to go back and add the side part here. All right, when that dries, I'll put a little bit over it. Now, what I want to do with the brick is I'll go in with some yellow ochre. This is just a really simple little drawing. Just to keep you using your paints. Just to give you a little reason to sit down for a minute and decompress. There we are. All right, now we do need to give that door a door, since it's just a big window of light right now. And I'm going to go over it in black. If I can get this brush to come back to a point, there we go. There. And now I've got this black on my brush. I'm just very lightly creating some architectural lines here. In some key places. There we are. And now what I think would look really neat, and I'm just going to put some footsteps going up to the door. We'll have them disappear behind the chimney here. All right, now let's make sure this is completely dry. And now what I want to do is take our putty eraser and erase whatever pencil lines I can. Now, once you watercolor over pencil, it's kind of difficult to erase, but some of these will go away. And there you have it. There's our little snowy scene. Just took a few minutes. I hope you guys have a minute to do some painting today. Let's go ahead and sign this. And have a good one. We'll see ya. Bye now. I actually ended up painting two of these. The one on the right is the one that you and I completed together. If you like content like this, please consider subscribing. Give this a like, comment, or share. That all helps my channel. Thanks so much, guys. See you soon.